Welcome back! Today let's talk about one of my favorite setups here on my desk, my top-down rig. If you've watched my videos before, you will definitely seen this in action, even if you didn't realize it. It's a setup that I use for those clean, minimal, perfectly lit shots directly from above. Whether I'm unboxing a new piece of tech, doing a flat lay for thumbnails, or showing you a detailed product demonstration, this is the rig that makes it all happen. But I've never really shown it to you in detail, and yes, it's not one single piece of gear, it's a combination of the right tools working together in a way that makes the whole process seamless and easy to use. So in this video I'm going to break down every single part of my desk setup for top-down content. We will start with the foundation, the overhead rig itself. Then we will talk about how I mount and remove my camera in seconds. We will cover the flexible arms I use to add accessories, the lighting setup that makes everything pop, and of course the background surfaces that give my shots that extra visual polish. So if you create content, do product photography, or just love a good, well thought out gear setup, you are going to enjoy this one. So let's dive in. But before I get into the gear itself, I think it's important to talk about why I built this setup in the first place. Because like most creators, I didn't start with the perfect setup. And yes, when I started filming top-down shots, it was chaos. I always used a tripod and then I tried to angle the head down over the desk. Sometimes I also stacked boxes or books to try to get the right height and use whatever I could find to hold the camera in place. I mean, it worked okay, but every single time it was super wobbly when I needed to adjust the shot. It also meant rebalancing everything, which was time consuming and annoying. On top, if I needed to recreate the same shot the next day, it was basically impossible to match it exactly. Maybe the lighting looked slightly different or the angle was off. And exactly that was a moment I knew I needed something better. And yes, I wanted a top-down rig that would be stable, quick to set up, easy to adjust, and most importantly, consistent. So something I could leave in place and it gives me a clean result every single time. And a search for that foundation led me to the new overhead rig. This video is not sponsored, by the way. But yeah, this became the backbone of my entire setup. So instead of relying on a freestanding tripod, this rig just extends up over the work surface. It gives me a rock solid platform to mount my camera exactly where I want it, directly above the action. And yes, the build quality is excellent for that price. Basically the whole construction gives it a great sturdiness. There's no wobble and no movement. I can lean on the desk, adjust my lighting or move things around and the camera stays perfectly still. Another thing that I love is how adjustable it is. I can raise or lower the setup to get just the right perspective, but over the last couple of months I just stick with this height and that's it. I can now focus entirely on what's in the frame without feeling like I am fighting my own gear. And honestly, that's the best thing about this rig. It's built like a tank. Once it's set up, I don't have to think about it, it just quietly does its job. But of course, even the best rig isn't much fun if mounting and removing the camera is a hassle. And yes, in the early days, mounting the camera wasn't fun. It was slow and honestly a little bit risky, especially when working overhead. And exactly that's why I added one system to all my tripods and cameras. That means I can use the same plate across multiple mounts in my studio. I don't have to swap plates or carry extra tools. This is one of those small upgrades that completely changes your workflow. It's a compact locking plate and base that lets me mount and remove the camera in seconds. And yes, this makes a huge difference when filming something that requires multiple angles. For example, I can shoot some overhead stuff, release the camera, drop it onto a tripod for a close-up, and then go right back to the top-down setup without spending 10 minutes to set up the shot. And yes, when you're hanging thousands of dollars worth of camera gear upside down above your desk, you want something that's secure. But now let's move on and let's talk about lighting, because no matter how good your rig is, bad lighting will ruin your shot. And for the top-down work, I wanted something that would give me soft, even light across the entire setup without creating harsh shadows or bright spots. And since I don't want to add a huge light and a softbox to the setup, I decided to opt for a tube light. And the Amaran T4C tube light turned out to be perfect for the setup. And yes, this light supports all kind of things from adjustable color temperature to full RGB setups for creative effects. I usually stick with a clean daylight balance for most production shots, but I love having the option to add colors when I'm going for a certain vibe. On top, the T4C's portability is a big plus because it's also battery powered. I can easily position it anywhere without worrying about cables. And with the Sidious Link app I can control the brightness and color from my phone, which means I can make adjustments mid-shooting without touching the light, and that's absolutely great. But the main question is how to add this light to the whole rig, and that's where the small rig magic arm came in. If you've never used a magic arm, it's essentially an adjustable metal arm that can be locked with a single knob. On top they have mounting points on both ends so you can attach them to the main rig on one side and then mount almost anything on the other. A monitor, a microphone, a second camera, or even a light. And yes, these arms are incredibly useful for building a custom shooting station. I actually have a couple of them here in my studio for a variety of things, and I can highly recommend them. The thing I appreciate the most is how solid they are. When you tighten that knob, everything locks in place. They will hold their position all day. It's this kind of modularity that really makes the setup feel professional. I can easily adapt the rig to whatever I'm filming that day. But one final piece of the puzzle is of course the surface itself. It's amazing how much the background can affect the overall look of a shot. Even with the perfect lighting or framing, a boring or distracting background can kill the vibe. And exactly that's why I use flat lay prints. These are high quality prints that mimic materials like marble, concrete, wood and metal. They're designed for media production, so they have realistic textures and colors that look great on camera. And yes, my favorite is of course this black one here. Of course they are lightweight, easy to store and quick to swap out. The ability to completely change the mood of a shot in under a minute is incredibly valuable. And a nice side effect is that it also means I can keep my actual desk surface protected from scratches and spills, making them a great investment. And for most of my top-down work I use a 15-35 or a 24-70mm zoom lens. I find that range between 35 and 50mm is a sweet spot for avoiding distortion while still capturing enough of the desk. But at the end of the day, it depends on what you want to do. I also shoot in 4K with a locked white balance and sometimes with manual focus. Especially having a consistent exposure and white balance is key for making multiple takes look seamless. And yes, this setup has completely changed the way I work. I can go from 0 to filming in minutes, I know the camera will be stable, the lighting will be consistent and the surface will look great. On top I can shoot multiple videos in a day without feeling like I'm spending all my time setting up the shot. It also makes reshoot simple. I can match shots from previous sessions with almost no effort. Especially that level of consistency is something I never had back when I was improvising my setup. So at the end of the day, this isn't just a collection of gear, it's a system. The newer overhead rig gives me stability, the quick release system saves me time, the Emron T4C provides beautiful even lighting, the magic arms add flexibility, and the flat lay prints let me change the entire mood of a shot instantly. Together, these tools make it way easier for me to get the job done. If you're serious about creating high quality top-down shots, building a dedicated setup like this one is one of the best investments you can make. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you need, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay updated for upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next video.